Princess, we'll be going live right now. Just give me a second, making sure. All right, family, it looks like we're here. Yes, family, give thanks. All right. Yes, just letting everyone know we are on board now. Prince and Princess, put yourself in order. Blessed love family, give thanks for being here with us. Give thanks to the life giver and the keeper of life, Emperor Haile Selassie I. Give thanks for the coming into each and every one. And we're going to be having a wonderful sit down and reasoning this evening. I think everyone could already see we definitely have a wonderful
sound gone. I don't know if you're hearing I, Virgin, and not hearing the I. Not hearing, some form of technical difficulty. Yeah.
Got it. Yes. Pardon me, King. I pressed the wrong button there a moment ago. Yes, right. Pardon me, family. I touched the wrong button.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. No, I did actually touch the wrong button there, and I had to start over everything. But everything is blessed. So, family, give thanks for your presence, each and everyone that is in tune. Thanks for your patience with us. We have the Honorable Priest Douglas Smith in the house with us, and we'll be talking of things Rastafari. We definitely will be going in the realms of security. And I know for sure those of us who are Congress members, those of us who are even just keeping up with, certain activities happening in the realms of Rastafari, you would definitely have an idea what may have kind of prepped this conversation this evening. So again, let me be thankful again for the Honorable Priest Dougie with us. Blessed love, my Lord. Give thanks for coming in again.
Yes, thanks, Priest Isaac, once again, to be in the tiger's nest,
Yes,
giving, thanks and praise for the moment. Even though it's a solemn moment, moment of, sorrow, we can't put up the words. It's a moment of sorrow, because whereas we know, say, our life has a duration, it's how the life ends. That makes it tragic, One didn't drift off into eternity as they should. One was violently taken according to the early statements coming from the Hill and from the news media. We are still waiting to hear what the ME says, the autopsy, to really give us the full evidence. No, it hasn't been released yet. I was checking today, and one said they haven't gotten any definitive statement from the ME as yet. So we're waiting. But all projections are whichever way it go, it should not have happened the way it happened. So, and it's not the first time that I have lost a one in the perimeters of the camp. to violent action. And even I office was burnt down deliberately by, the predators that surround I. So as the topic says, we're living in a very violent world. And the space here in Jamaica is, one of the most violent at this time. I don't want to give Jamaica any bad publicity because we are no worse off than nowhere, because every morning I get up in Miami, I have to turn to my brethren and say, brethren, sometimes I don't even go watch this. But sometimes I don't even go watch this news, because this waking up to listen to this to start the day is starting. Yeah, it's a depressive way, because you hear black and black crime, 2 little princesses were shot, drive by. You understand? So it's a worldwide thing. But let's bring it to the reality now. I as Rastafari, we're not supposed to be part of this world. I know I'm not being unrealistic. Yes, we live within the globe. But when I say that, we don't do as they do. We don't say as they say. We don't eat as they eat. We are not within their societal norm. But we are finding ourselves as prey, same way within them violent action. So how do I, as a house of priests, who are total pacifists, we are not even like some of the Ethiopian priests, them are, yeah, we are real pacifists. We believe that just through faith, all things will be well. And that is good for those who it work for. But we have an example right here. It didn't work for Empress Sharon and others, So knowing or not knowing who is that 1 or 5 or 10% that will be affected by these kind of actions, how do we take precaution? How do we change our method of operation? How do we revise our rhetoric to fit the times in which we live? That's one view that I am looking at this evening, as well as, we profess all these endearments. We are the children of God. We are the priests of Melchizedek. We are all these things. What does it amount to if we cannot protect our mothers, our wives, our daughters, our sons, our children, our border? What does it amount to? That's the reality of what we are facing today. The time of pretense, of being drunk in that religious stupor, which most of us have been and many are still today. That time is over. Even listening to some of the African speakers today, like Dr. Lumumba. I heard a recent speech from him that I had posted around. Very impressive. He laid out the African, whether you're in the diaspora or on the continent. And he laid out exactly what has happened to us and what is happening to us. Because he started off by saying, all right, you know what's a scam? They talk about scamming and scammers. You know what's a scam? A scam is having the Bible, the James version of the Bible, translated in every African language that you can think of.
Yeah, it's a scam.
But here the scam, no, here the essence of the scam. But books like Art of War, books on science, books on metaphysics are only translated into Eurocentric languages, and he was quoting stats and he was quoting figures and all of that as he went on to address him issue, you understand, showing that this is a factual thing. One can go and check it out for themselves. There are certain books that are not made privy You understand? We are not made privy to them. We're not given the freedom to peruse them like the Eurocentric nations. They are a normal thing in any European house. But the only thing that is normal and common to the black man house is the Bible. And out of that Bible, even Rastafari find itself trying to chart its path. You know, now, yeah, I am a priest of the order of Melchizedek. I'm a Bobo Shanti priest for many years. I perform my services within my community, but realistic services. Now, wherein the Bible had played a very important role in the advent of Rastafari. We are at a point in I evolution where information is available to us now on all levels. We have access to our ancient writings from which these Bibles were written and translated and revised and all of that. We have the original version. We need to go forward to those levels of our history and our culture and our philosophy and build from there, you know, our theology, you know. King Emmanuel did a miraculous thing in using what he had, you know, to preach Black liberation theology, because our form of faith, you know, our faith base is not Eurocentric as others are. It has levels of Eurocentricity in it without a doubt, because we use in Sankhya and Solo. See, but our interpretation is like you know, so funny. Today, my queen was playing a clip of one of her sisters who last night did a gig in New York for whoever. And she was doing a song from one of them early movies, My Fair Lady or Sound of Music, one of them. But she, as according to how my queen put it, she Caribbeanized. She Caribbeanized it by changing the narrative and infusing some of our little slurs and some of our little, you know, gestures or gesticulations within it. See, so it made it a little more Caribbean. Well, that is what people like King Emmanuel was able to do with the Bible. He revolutionized it. He revolutionized it and was able to preach from it a Black theology. Now, we don't need to continue using what we had when we only had that. When today we have now retrieved our originals. So we are not saying to come away from our spirituality. We are not saying to change anything within our livity. Just to start to search for our spiritual understanding in our texts, in our history, in our reality. See? And if we do that, some of this pacifism that we hold dear to will disappear. Yes, because we would see that many of our heroes and sheroes that we hold high had to do what they had to do when they had to do it. And it's by any means necessary. Life by any means. I ask a question. I want to sit in and allow someone to come into your house and rape your wife and, you know, harm your daughter or your children, you know, defile your household because you say you're a pacifist. You're not willing to do something that needs to be done to defend your household except for praying. Now, if the teaching is correct, the man says word and the works. The word is what you utter in calling for strength and guidance and all of that. The works is what you have to go put in now, you know, to make sure that the border's safe. All right, now we have philosophized. Coming down to the crux of the matter now, camp is there. Camp is being overrun by elements elements that are threatening to the welfare of the righteous. Now, we have no security within the borders of camp. We are still inviting people from different places into our space. That is now, irresponsible. That's the word. That is irresponsible. Because if you can't protect yourself, or you're going to invite others into your space, and you can't protect them, that means because you don't value your life, that don't mean someone else don't value theirs. And if we are looking out for one another, if we are our brother's keeper, then we have to be more realistic with reactions. See, ones visit the camp at their own initiative, at their own risk, because that is the reality of it. Now, how we are going to redeem Mother Africa if we can protect ourselves? I as Rastafari always chanting about influencing Africa's development, going to redeem Mother Africa from the clutches of the colonial powers and those that are raping and ravaging her at this time. How are we going to do it? With prayer? Just with prayer? Prayer is something for a personal strength, You're praying to the God within. That is what Rastafari, I can't speak for any other ones out there. But Rastafari, we deal with the God within. See, man and woman of a right is God and goddess in flesh. So the God dwells within. So when you pray, you're praying to that creative force within to strengthen the outernal person, so the outernal person can do what needs to be done. But that is not what I and I is doing. Religion has taught us to pray and wait on some supernatural miracle. We have to done with that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man, we have to finish with that, Bridget. We're doing an injustice even to ourselves. Now, our elders like Mama Sharon is part of our duty to protect. Our creed says it. Age protected. Age protected. Why do we repeat or recite the creed every time we keep an event? Why do we hold the creed so dear? For trivial pursuit? It is a reminder of what our duty is. That is what it is, It's a reformation and an affirmation of what I and I duty is. I and I duty is to protect I and I elders. We are not doing a very good job of it because we are set in the same path that the rest of the world is. And I ask the question, if we are living and acting like the rest of the world, how are we professing to be different? At the end of every service, we sing a thing. The whole of the love, Rastafari have the whole of the love. No, it's not just words. Why we do it? Everything that we do as a house of priests has a realistic application or meaning.
Yes, yes.
We do it to profess it, to manifest it. But again, it doesn't seem that way. It seems like we sing those things just as rituals, just as, because others did it and it's just the way. We are not internalizing the words so we can manifest the action. The whole of the love Rastafari have. Virgin, like I said today, and I will say it on the I program for the world to hear. At this point, today in my life, in my journey, okay, I am ashamed of I and I. We are much less than our elders were. And as we see, the generation that is coming after us is even much less than we are, So that doesn't make this future look very bright, because we are not leaving our footprint in the sand. We have more tools than our predecessors. We have more opportunities. Like, for instance, right now, the Rastafari movement in Jamaica is now sitting and reasoning with the Minister of Security. They have an arrangement to meet once a year, plus he has assigned 2 liaisons to the movement that are supposed to be accessible to I and I at any time, if there's an issue or whenever we need to, reason and get something done through the ministry. See, also the Ministry of Justice, now he has agreed to meet with Rastafari every month, not even just once a year, every month. So we see all these doors opening up, all these avenues that the elders didn't have, these privileges that the elders didn't have. Now we have the Tiger's Nest and others, the African Liberation Network, all these vehicles and these tools to advance our struggle. But yet the gathering strong is still weak. We're still looking for the real revolutionaries. I'm seeing a whole lot of Christians, but I'm not seeing the real revolutionaries. Yes, no matter how we blackwash it come back out to the same thing. My brethren Bobo Benton always I say, no matter how we turn Jesus into Negos, the essence of it still remain the same. So we have to face those realities today, and we have the power to change things. We have this concept that if a thing wasn't done by the elders, it shouldn't be done by I and I. That's madness. If Haile Selassie I is our leader, it's our author of I and I faith, look at what the legacy of writings that he has left and read what he has said about a leader. Read the speech about leadership and what it takes to be a leader. He said that a leader must not only be a follower, he has to be a trendsetter. He cannot be afraid to do something for the first that has never been done when it is needed to be done. So I and I have that power to change. A man of right not going to change something to wrong. So what is the fear about change when your virgin come and say, Virgin, if we look at this and see if we can. Is a man of right come to you because say I and I are virgin, we're living together, we know how we live. That's why we volunteer to this live, because we're seeking right. We're not perfect, yes, and some of us in different stages of our purity, but we are all on the same journey, man of right. So if a man is of right, he's not going to seek to do something of wrong. So in seeking to change something, to modify, review, or revise something, you're seeking to do it as a man of right with that same divine mindset and concept. The power that the Father give I and I as individuals, give us that right. Especially if as a collective group, we sit down and we say, this is no longer working for us. It is no longer relevant to our reality. Because our forefathers did it. We must continue to do it. For instance, a simple analogy or a simple comparison of circumcision of the females that was a tradition back in the African ancient time. Something that came out of a colonial era too. People don't even people need to trace back the history of those things too. A lot of what seems to be an ancient long practice. Yes, it is long now because it's hundreds of years it has been done now. But look at when it really started and out of what circumstance it started. See, those things came out of because remember, our ancient sages knew that they were not supposed to mutilate their body.
Of course.
That's why they never shave them face. That's why they never cut them ear. That's why they never do certain things. So them would not even go further than that to cut off piece of what Jah create. You understand? But those things came out of colonial era, out of fear mindset and all kind of different things to try and keep the princess out of certain danger. But it's a false sense of whatever, you know, of security, of safety or whatever it is. But looking at it, are we still going to perpetuate that because our ancestors did it? Are we still gonna turn over our brethren when they pass over to some Christian and Muslim people to bury him? When them live 40, 50, 60 years as Rastafari? Now, are we gonna still, because our elders didn't do it? But today, with more knowledge, when we look at what our ancients did, look at what His Majesty saying in the Faith and Negas about transition and how to deal with it. Who are we patterning? Remember the Egyptians, contrary to what religion tell you about them, is about Egypt is slavery and Egypt is this and Egypt is that. The ancient Egyptians were our ancestors. And look at how they dealt with the transition of our one. It is as sacred as life. But these kind of conversations, most of I and I, especially within the House of Priests, are not gonna have these conversations because they are blasphemy, they are whatever phobia, you know, or a phobic name you want to assign to it, you know.
So because we hold so strong now to European philosophy, which could include not just the Bible, but some of the hymn books that we use, because what I'm getting from the eye is that this philosophy bring a certain passive sort of state of mind, like it numb us to some degree.
Make us docile. Make us docile. You understand?
To the reality of life.
Yes. Yes. You understand? Yeah. Because if I had followed that mindset when Dada passed, maybe the man would have dump him somewhere. We don't know what they do with him. Because when I went to deal with the father, the man them in the camp run, you know. Literally run, you know, when we're ready to move the body, you know. His Bobo that live outside the camp, I and I draw for that come assist I and I to move the body and get it dealt with and prepare to be buried, you know. Because man didn't know if the man get frightened, man. We're coming down the 3 o'clock in the morning, we're coming down with the casket. And it was so few of I and I, it was heavy. And coming downhill is a struggle. So a priest was coming up the hill and we called him to say, give us a hand. When him look up and see the man turn and literally bolt, you know, run. So that is the reality that we face, you know, with I and I brethren. They are so locked into that religious box that they won't think for themselves. No. One's going to hear Priest Ogie and say Priest Ogie is preaching a contrary doctrine. I'm not preaching anything contrary. I am saying.
No, well, let me say no. I agree with you. It's like what you just said. I totally understand that for sure. And I know what religion and philosophy and these things can do to you psychologically. But no, in the state of, in the case of the direct subject, for those who don't know, we definitely, you know, speaking of, as you said, Honorable Empress Sharon, who would have left us, and just to use the term they would use in the media, etc., under some allegedly what was the right word, man? Circumstances, some deadly circumstances. You know, even when I spoke about it, you know, I was I choose my words carefully, specifically, until, as you said, the autopsy, which I thought would have been done by now, would have been completed. But so that is basically the foundation of the discussion.
And our security as Rastafari.
In general, of course, right?
Which again lead back to the mindset of I and I as Rastafari.
Right. Okay. So, but before you say that, but this is what I'm saying now. It's so bad that in the case of defending each other, securing each other, having that spirit to come together and design a proper plan, that this mindset of the philosophy that we follow would have made us so docile when even other people that we bonfire on for practicing paganism and this and heathenism have their thing well structured. They check for themselves. They hungry be fed. Their age are protected. And we bonfire on them. How that happen?
Too many inconsistencies within our ideology, Rasta. Too many. Because yes, we must maintain a standard and level of purity as priests. No one is saying to run go hug up a dead body. No one is saying to take up gun. No one is saying none of these things. What we are saying is that when our brothers and sisters and loved ones transition, we must have a method of sending them to the ancestors. There must be a method that we ourselves perform in honor or in homage to that one's life.
Right. No, but hear me, the king. I overs that, and I totally agree with that. And I know how psychology and philosophy could make us act otherwise. But in the case that we are talking now, you mean to tell me now that we have an elder or elders amongst us? What kind of philosophy could make us not look out for them? In one case, I don't want to say what not happening, but the word get around. In one case, one would say, boy, I think I hear something going on over there. I hear some kind of noise like somebody wrestling with something.
I ain't no go check.
We don't see the body until a couple of days after.
You don't go check. I do all of love that. Yeah, man, that was a whole heap of love. These are the things, these are the inconsistencies that we're speaking of.
Wow.
These are the inconsistencies, my brethren. We are a divine order of priests. We have to be ordained. This is not something that we just go and say we are, and I don't know who might be playing that role, but we go through a process. We go through a process of cleansing, of preparation to be pure enough to take that goal and speak on behalf of the Father, on behalf of the voiceless, the poor and the have-nots, the disenfranchised. We have to go through a process to be able to do that, to be validated. Okay, so in being that there's a process like that, how do we not check on our sister, knowing that we heard a sound, no matter what, from you heard a sound and it didn't sound normal, if it's him for call over the fence, and if you're not hearing a return call, then you know, so you need to go further. And go further and further until you verify that the person is Irish. And even if the person is, say, a younger person and is in-house at the time on her journey, you're going to say she's in there and facing certain, and because she is on her monthly journey, we are just going to abandon her. She's that unclean that we will not do something to assist her in a time of need. Religion, them thing there.
Religion that
I think they're religion, Rasta. See, I'm on honor the purification period,
With overs.
But it's the interpretation of these laws and these things that are causing the problem, because they are done from a religious standpoint. And we need to get back to our African spirituality that gives us an higher insight into human reality. Because we call the Bible holy, But we call one another some names. But the Bible only, you go all a man house and they want you touch him Bible and him Bible, him Bible and him Bible. But flesh, flesh is a man, flesh is a guy, flesh is all these different things we call flesh. Where God, where the living God is in. But the Bible only. So that's why we will hear something happening to his sister and not go check. It's more important to put on a robe and go in at the tabernacle and go up on the altar. I think that being a priest and going on the altar is the ultimate. That is not even a fourth of being a priest. It's a holistic liberty. That is just one little part. That is more for our gratification, because when we go in there, it's like our dancer. Yeah, ones are going to rule about them sounded too, but I'm talking to the world, and the world understand what I mean when I say that. When we go into the tabernacle, what people get from things out there, worldly things, we get it from our tabernacle. We get that joy and happiness and release and stress release and all of these things when we go in our tabernacle. Along with that, we get to interact with the inner God. So, yes, but that is not the ultimate. That doesn't make us who we are. The test is how we live one to another. The greatest commandment is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. But we make that the least. You know, see it, like I say, the Bible holy. But man vile and man corrupt and man all of these. But the Bible holy. And the Bible is written by man. You see the inconsistency again? Man, I got to tell you, say, no, but it's the inspiration of God. So, you know, the whole of I and I have that access. That access is not limited to one individual or two individual or 66 books, you know. That access is given to all of I and I. It's just I one have to aspire, you know, see, to rise that consciousness, that Christ consciousness within oneself and that divine consciousness within oneself. Dada came and taught it. He said, so easy, so is I and I. The Father and the Son is one. When we talk about Christ and his way, we act like it's something out of this world different. If it was so, then I'm teach Peter and his disciples to do the same thing, to raise dead, walk on water, and do all of them things the way him do. It wasn't something strictly unique to him. It was a discipline to be achieved by any who desire and has the will and the perseverance and the courage to pursue it. That is what I and I, Bobo Ashanti, had. Why we are Bobo Ashanti. We had that courage, that will, that desire to walk up that rocky mountain and go check the little man up there and find out who he was and learn from him. Same, which is the same act we did, you know, we went and we achieved the same teaching, how to be divine, how to do all the things that he did. That is what he taught us. But yet we are afraid to change where change is needed. We can't redeem Africa as a pacifist Rasta, because the man them we are come to come ravage Africa, not coming with no smile. You understand? Even when them came with the Bible, them had the Bible in one hand and they had the gun in the other. They have never come without a weapon. So I and I going to defend and redeem Mother Africa without a plan. His Majesty, I read it today, just today, I go read up that speech there on self-defense, where is the High Majesty say that I and I greatest strength is I and I unity. Him say I and I greatest security is I and I unity. I and I solidarity. Him say it's not the weapon or the armor. That is I and I greatest strength. It's that unity. And he went on, once can go read the speech and him show you what self-defense is. No, and the man say, you know, him say, within the same speech, him say, be courteous, be polite, all of that, until it's time not to. I am paraphrasing, but that was the essence of what that paragraph said. Be courteous, bend over backwards to show love and all of that until it is time not to. That means it's time to get into self-defense mode. So if there's a time for everything, the man said, if there's a time for everything under the sun, then there must be a time to defend yourself if you need to defend yourself, my brethren.
So you mean, so we're not going, so I'm trying to figure out, so we're not going to, okay, Empress Sharon, go through what you go through. You know that we have some other vulnerable elders. You know, even I did a video after the scene happened, and I even mentioned how interestingly it is that I think it was like a week before that happened, we were speaking on the African Liberation Network, hosted by about the elder care and sponsor elder. And it was not too, and we even were saying that, hey, listen, we never carry this to no big committee, because, you know, this could just like government red tape and go around the world before anything happened. So the few of us that would like to see it go forward, we could structure it. What am I saying? What we're saying here, you know, that amongst I and I, even something like that, we can structure until we reach to a point that we get rid of certain philosophies that we keep up. And when will that happen?
And I like
when will that happen? When every Sabbath you have to read Exodus 20.
I like how you're bringing that piece. I like how you're bringing that piece, because that takes it to the next level of security. Because security, that's why I say we're not preaching not gun and bomb now. There is many levels of securing one another. See, now then that is the next level of security. Securing our elders, the most vulnerable. Now you ask a great question. Is that so hard? My lad, I went off today on the site, on one of the main Bubba site, because the silence was so deafening that I got, like I said, I got disgusted with myself being part of this madness, you know, because this is self-hate, this is suicidal, this is self-defeating, all of those things, Rasta. See, I cannot sit and watch our elders go to waste. They are invaluable. 1. 2, they are human. And when no matter how strong and towering a person is, when they reach certain age, they reach back to that stage where they need assistance. Why cannot the like-minded, the more advanced, the more conscious, come together and implement a simple program? Simply. Now, we talk about other members of the Rastafari family as being not as advanced as the EABIC. That was once long ago. Because today, the Nyabingi House hosts a continuous elder care program, which I assist them with from time to time. Because those elders are my elders as well, not just Bobo elders. All Rastafari elders are Iman elders. All Rastafari children are my children. I don't matter which, whatever you want to, because I'm not looking for something to separate us. I'm looking to bring us together. You see, so when I'm called upon to do my part, I do my part for them, and it's a nice program. And they do worlds for them elders. People may not know this, but Marshanti, who passed 2 weeks ago, she passed in an institution. She was being paid to be looked after. See, Bongo Georgie, where you hear Bob talk about Georgie who make the firelight, him talk about in him song. See, was in our home same way and cared for until the other day when he passed, and several elders. So the Nyabingi house is doing their thing. They have a Sunday conference call, which it's an international call because I've been invited on it more than once. And you have brethren from all over the world and sisters from all over the world on it, speaking to their issue and to their space. They also recently revised the Nyabingi Constitution to fit into the modern times. They are advancing themselves, the same ones that we thought was way behind us one time long ago, are advancing themselves using modern technology, using the advancement of education that their children have, and even I and I generation was privileged to get, using those wise minds to do what needs to be done. But I and I, Boba Ashanti, we stopped moving. 28 years since the father trod, and we are stuck in a rut. We have stopped growing. We have stopped creating programs of advancement. We have stopped doing whatever. We just existing, and existing is not living. Just like always say, we are survive. Survive is not living. When you're living, you're enjoying nature and all the benefits of nature, all the blessings of far. You're enjoying that. When you're surviving, you barely have the necessities of life. So right now, why are we settling when the doors are now open? Like I said, Rastafari meeting with the Minister of Security, this one, that one, the Prime Minister apologized for injustices against Rastafari, give reparation money to a group for the injustice that was done to them, and looking to give more along the way. All these things happening. All these things happening. And we are here, still just playing Dolly House. We rush to the tabernacle every Sabbath in our whites, and we mount the goal, and we regurgitate the Bible, and nothing changes. We come up, the Sabbath come down, and Mama Phyllis round there with her eyesight can't see a fumble and a follow in her room, saying, Mama, Garrett need a hip replacement, struggling to find the funds to get the hip replacement. You have Priest Coty around there, crippled in her house, with nobody to take care of him. You have Priest Morgan who ailing. I can go down the list of brethren and sisters that need immediate care. Immediate. As a matter of fact, they needed it yesterday. And we are unable to give it to them. Because I am willing to try to whatever I can do, but I alone cannot do it. I am no Bob Marley, no millionaire, no. I am just a struggling Rastaman like every other Rastaman trying to put bread on the table and feed the youth, man. Stay independent. But I am willing to share whatever it is that I can share, and whatever resources I have, I work with doctors. My doctors are willing to give their time, but it will take funds to transport the ones to where they need to go. It will take funds to buy the medicine that they need. So,
yes, sir. For all those listening, this is what you call reality programs, reality,
You don't know when I come on the I program, when you I check come on program, say something and I come to reason about. I don't come for, I'm not there for jerk chicken, and I there for deal with the reality of life. See it, like I'm saying at Jamaica. And I there for deal with the reality of life. See it. And I will come preach no Bible to no one. I'm not going to preach any illusions to anyone. I am preaching what the reality is. I'm trying to share my little bit of knowledge. And I'm not saying I'm right and I'm always right. But this is not about a right and wrong situation. This is about what is, what has been, what continues to be. The mindset that needs to be changed. This is the 21st century. If we do not evolve, we become obsolete. The time for the mansions are over. It's time to centralize our system. Now, that doesn't negate the House of Priests. The House of Priests is a service within the community that is essential and will always be needed. But this separating mindset that come with being a member of a mansion, has to be dispensed. We have to get rid of that because it's a Willie Lynchism. When I go look for my 12 tribe brethren, because it chose to adhere to Film Rasta in that way, then say, I different from him and him different from I. In what way? Him choose a way for prayer. Him go and do him thing. I choose my way. Me and him are still brother, and we are still brethren, and we still healing Rastafari. You see, now you're being the man same way, whatever branch of Rastafari you are, as long as you're healing the king and the queen, and you're living within the principles of Rastafari. No matter what you call yourself, I and I is family. So we need to get rid of the mindset there. We separate I and I. See, the only time, as a matter of fact, let me start with this. The only difference between two individuals is whether them good or evil. And the only time any group or any individual can beat them chest is when they have achieved something that makes us different. You know, when we start to take care of our elder, see, and protect the children, clothe the naked, feed the hungry. When we start to live our creed practically, see, then we can start to talk like we are doing something and we are somewhere.
And you don't see that happening until we change our
mindset,
philosophy, our mindset. And you believe we have to. So how, you mentioned the Bible, how we deal with the Bible in the change of mindset? Is it something we have to put totally away?
We use the Bible within our rituals. Like
cut it down a bit.
The interpretation of the Bible, we need to stop trying to fit ourselves into the pages of the Bible.
So Exodus 20 and 31 is Saturday time.
Our Sabbath is Sabbath. That is our way of life. That doesn't change. That the Sabbath never come with the Bible. That was long before the Bible. There are things that is in the Bible that existed long before the Bible. We adhere to those. Those are natural laws of our tradition, whatever you want to call it, our ancestors, our divine, authors of our faith and all of that. That exists long before the Bible. I'm talking about the Bible mindset. It's not even the book,
The book, right.
It's not even the book. It's the mindset where I read the book. Because the book, you have all man use it for science, man use it for hocus pocus, and use it for all kind of things. And when I'm interpreting it, it sounds like something to, when you try to sell your film concept. It's not like it all mumbo jumbo. It sounds like something too. So it's the interpretation, my lord. We interpreting the Bible and interpreting our liberty solely through this James version. Now, reading our Psalms within our rituals, the Psalms have its purpose and each Psalm and all of that. We have priests, we know all of that. But reading all some other books and interpreting it in our way, it lock we in our box. It make we can't. It define it while the rest of the world is moving on with their spiritual consciousness, them elevating. The Bible limit you from your spiritual growth, Rasta. If you are interpreting the Bible from a religious Christian mindset, it limits your spiritual growth. If you are using the Bible as a moral compass, that is something different. But religion has taught us to be fanatics. We interpret everything that happens in there, and we want to see ourselves in every facet of it. So we even give ourselves biblical names to try and duplicate that and all of that, instead of going back and looking for some serious warriors and some serious empresses that really impacted our struggle and assume their identity and assume their spirit so we can duplicate what they did in this time, in modern times. No, we're going back and we're trying to be like John and Peter and Paul and Matthew and all of those. So it's the mindset. It's not the book. The book is allegorical. You read it and you get some nice message out of it. You get some nice clarity of how to be loving and forgiving and all of those little things. And in aspects of it, it gives you bits of factual history too, because I tell you about the Queen of Sheba. It tell you about the one who sat up on the throne and the one who came and took the book from the one who sat up on the throne. It gives you bits of realistic historical events as well, but it is also symbolic. It wrapped up in that Christian coding, where originally his skin was as brass and his hair was as wool. But now when you read the revised version, it says he's light. He reflected as light and all of this different interpretation. Yeah. You understand them? The more they interpret it, it's more to fit them.
And but if you interpret it properly, because even realistically, I wouldn't even understand it that long, but because you bring it to the forefront like a key point in us being passive,
I read my Bible.
I have to ask, so if we were to interpret it correctly then, because I don't know how long we can wait to figure out that part before we get into, handling our domestic affairs properly. Because obviously I agree, if our psychology is not in order, we're not going to deal with the domestic affairs properly. That's for sure. But we're in a state of emergency here. This is the whole government is dissolved in a sense. We're in a state of emergency. So what's the quickest route for us to get to the point where we can feel like we are a government defending our elders, taking care of our young ones, preserving marriages, dealing with domestic violence, all of them things happen amongst Rastafari. Domestic violence.
For those that need guidance with that, let us go into our text. The Egyptian book of the coming forth by day and by night, them call Egyptian book of the dead, the Ethiopian book of the light, the Feta Negas, the Kebra Negas. We have a whole heap of book, check under the upright, a whole heap of thing. Chinu Achebe, write Things Fall Apart and all kind of books. We have our own historians, we have our own philosophers, our own theologians. Why are we still listening to our enslaver and his version of the thing and interpreting it from that level? And it has not served us in 500 years. In 500 years, we're still singing Better Must Come today. We're still singing We Going to Overcome. We're still singing all of these Negro spirituals that we sung back then. Now we even had a whole more modern version to it. And we're still in the same position. We still be like Dr. Lumumba said on one of his tape thing the other day, it described how we are treated all over the world, and one of the things he said, we are being shut down in the United States like birds. We are being treated like whatever in Europe. We are being by the Arabs, when we are going to wake up and realize that we have the right to determine our own destiny, to see our reality through our own eyes, through our own Ethiopian spectacle, to interpret our theology through our own heartbeat, because the God is internal. I love my order, I love. If I didn't love it, why would I be who I am? Nobody not putting a gun to my head. But I love it so much that I can't just sit by and watch Christian-minded people that say them is Rasta and Bobo hold down the thing. We need the man them who have that religious vibe. Go and deal with the religious thing. But don't hold back the bridging them who come to build the government. Because you have a set of one who come to build the government. It's the government, them the draw to, you know. We're all spiritual people, so spirituality is natural. It's a part of us. That's why it comes so easy. So that is not something that we have to search far to find. But governance, good leadership within the Black world, see, conscious leadership, that is what we lack. And that is why we were drawn to the ABIC, because they talk about the Ethiopia, Africa, Black International Congress. It did not say the Ethiopia, Africa, Black International Church.
I hear you.
It said the Congress. Years later, the church, through Divine Church of Salvation, was added, which is all good. Working together properly, it is perfect. But we are focused on just that side, and we are not focused on it from an African point of view. We are still focused on it from the religious background that we were brought up in. All we did was change our look and a little bit of our attitude, our practices. But the thought process that they instilled in us, we didn't get rid of it. We have not purged it out to where it no longer affects our action and how we look at things. We still looking at it through a Christian eye. Still have this taboo-ness.
So let us look at it realistically then, even right now. So right now, as we're dealing with our foundation, and let me say we have 100 people right now on the video. I see about 23 of them thumbs up. So just give me a little more of them thumbs up there, please. You know how we go with that and their algorithm, and get the word around and let more people, and share the link too. If you don't want thumbs up, share the link. That alone is a couple of thumbs up self. Share the link somewhere and let someone else know what's going on. So King, and in fact, you know, before we go there, let me just highlight something there, King. Please give me a moment there. Of course, you know, we're celebrating the Earth Strong, you know, of our God and King, Emperor Haile Selassie I. And we are having a special presentation this Sunday in the Tigers Temple. Of course, no contribution at all needed, family. All I want you to do is just contact me. You don't know the email, priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com, to get your link for this Sunday in the Tigers Temple. Here, this one. This is the Comet and the King. Now you may say, wow, what this one is all about. Well, you'll see. There's a comet right now going through the atmosphere, the exosphere itself. We're talking about C2017 K2. As we speak, it's in the constellation of Ophiuchus. So, and if you notice, we have Kepler there on the poster, which is very symbolic of this time, and the full moon that not too long passed on the 13th of July. Hey, listen, you're going to have to tune in on Sunday. Just make sure you're there with us. No contribution whatsoever needed. Just email me, get your link. The Tigers Temple starts at 8. Of course, you know, it's all in the celebration of the 130th anniversary of Nego Senegas, our King of Kings. And of course, we're going to be, you know, it's not going to be a panel discussion. It's not going to be no debate this Sunday. It's just about expressing the cosmos and the connection of, you know, reality. And as we always say, the universe mirrors itself. That's what this is about, you know, just showing you how the universe mirrors itself. We take great pride in doing these sorts of presentation. Trust me, just make sure you're there. You're going to definitely full joy. Yes, my Lord. What else?
Just a follow-up before I move from this, so just to even add to some of the, you know, the advertisements that you're dropping. You know, I know wherever Rastafari is at the moment, you know, there's a celebration going on, and through the 130th, it is significant. So ones can attend, you know, the closest thing to them. If you're in Miami, the Bobo Ashanti House there is hosting, you know, their thing there. So is the Nyabingi. So whatever your preference is, you can choose. And I'm coming right now to Jamaica, where I am at this moment. I like what I see going on here, as we talk about the mindset change. And I commend my Nyabingi brethren more than any other mansion right now for their advanced movement, because this weekend, after the 23rd and the 24th, they are hosting, that is the Sunday, they are hosting an all mansion day at the Nyabingi Center, where all groups, mansions, are invited to come and make a presentation and be a part of the festivities. The overall topic is unity and centralization. So I love that. I love the initiative because it is a first, where the olive branch is being offered to everyone right now. So no one do have a reason to say, we can't find unity, we can't find solidarity. And because of that, we can't progress, because I see action taking place. There's also a coalition that's called the Coalition Group here, which is more like a think tank. It is led by some serious Rastafari sisters who have, their education in that sense. Some of them work with the government arena, but they are giving their skill sets to the movement. So they have formed a coalition, and they are dealing with different issues that affect I and I, Rastafari in general, and ones here in Jamaica in specific. See, and so moves like that I see happening here for the first time, where, that separation is slowly but surely fading away. So I give thanks. Yes, my Lord.
Yes, my Lord, give thanks. Well, I was saying now, looking at the reality of what we have on the ground, okay, let's just utilize, let's speak of our Congress headquarters. And we know, the foundation of this discussion is not really something that just happened overnight. It's not something you could hide neither, because even Bobo Hill has been in the news several times over the last couple of years. When it comes to violence, we know Bulbe went through a terrible thing, and always going through a terrible thing. There was a case where there was this headline news that Bobo Hill is, holding or safeguarding killers or whatever the case is, until police came up there. It was in the Gleaner. I even did a quick clip about it, and the brethren were showing them, hey, nobody really up here, yeah, people pass through, but we're not harboring nobody, which we know we don't harbor no one. We know that for sure. But the reality is our security is becoming porous, and more so as, the days go by or the years go by. Ones, those from the foundation, even maybe the I would give stories of, hey, listen, even during the time of King Emmanuel, one would pass through, maybe try a thing, but it's nothing in comparison to a time like today. So where we are now, what steps, I understand the philosophy aspect of it. I don't know when we're going to get that one day straight. So where we are now, like today, wherein, as we're speaking, they have other elder ones basically in the same position as the elder empress that has passed. Right now, sitting and waiting, let's just say, for a rescuing hand, knowing that they have so many brethren that okay, you just mentioned Empress Phyllis. People, you go on Facebook, you see people typing up her name and expressing her position now. So with all of us that can say that out of our mouth, what is happening for her and others in her position? You just mentioned some people that are not walking, people that need hip replacement, other ones that we know definitely need some eye treatment for sure. What is it that we are doing for for her. And let me say something here, 2K. And this is not necessarily coming out of this chat, but I've been hearing a few individuals, you know, pulling out certain ones that they believe either could be doing more for our elders or maybe not putting enough into the game. And I'm going to be very clear with this one. You know that we have amongst us the great physician international, the Honorable Priest Kailash Leonce. And of course, he's an individual who has basically mastered his craft. You know, he's an individual that I have seen heal many people in many different cases. People whose eyesight almost gone, people who couldn't walk, who end up climbing coconut tree to bring coconut for us. This is something I live and see with my eyes. So, and of course, over the years, which is now going into decades, his popularity and his craft would have grown, and his, you know, international credibility and more people knowing of him. So this is Priest Kailash. So now amongst us, because you know how we are, you know, we're quick to kind of pull down. And I've seen it with my eyes, and I've heard a few kind of making certain word sound to kind of give insinuate something, that why is it that we have ones dealing with medicine and these ones were not there to help certain ones who cannot see and certain ones who cannot walk. Now, and because it's getting around, I just want to bring in my point of view when it comes to that. This brother here, right, has helped so many of the elders. You may not see it. He ain't gonna come and spread it to you. I mean, there's so much of us. The elders themselves may not come out and say it, but when it comes to his medicine, when it comes to money, there have been cases where elders have situations that they cannot handle. I know for sure that the brother would have taken care of the situation for them. His own medicine would have traveled. He would have taken elders and bring them to his own natural clinic and would have taken care of them and once bringing them back to life. You know, he's one man, one human being, and he is an individual that would have put many proposals on the table for I and I. This ain't no one-man thing. Nobody here is pretending to be Atlas and carrying the universe. But I know he has put many proposals on the tables for I and I. I've been in a few of the gatherings where, you know, it was just up to us as a people to come on board and say, yeah, that idea sounds good, let's move with it. But because of bickering and because of pulling and maybe because of some of what you're putting on the table, our you know, religious mind frame, these things never come off of the ground. Even as we speak, no, my Lord. The priest is holding a big celebration in St. Lucia. Many of us have gone down there. There's a delegation leaving from Antigua tomorrow going down there. There's a delegation from Bahamas, they're already there, from Trinidad and from Jamaica there. And it's not just about celebrating the King Earth Day alone, you know. There'll be financial conferences for the woman, you know. So he's a brother that has a lot of ideas. And I have witnessed him trying to implement his ideas amongst us. I'm not asking. So I don't take it lightly when ones who I don't even know, I just see him typing and hear their voice talking about, oh, then I have a bubble doctor, so where he be? I've heard it. So I'm just putting ones in check, to be careful with your words if you don't know what you're talking about. Yes, my Lord, please. You still there?
Yes, I.
Yeah.
Yes, I.
You got to put
goes
that
up for a second. Yes, I. Well, like, I hear the I, and I can also say that there have been other individuals, you know, many of I and I have tried to do what we thought was the best for the Congress and for our people. But because of, like we spoke of earlier, our suicidal tendencies, our self-hate, and things like that, we find a lot of stumbling block, a lot of hurdles to leap over. But again, Her Majesty's speech, something that I used to guide myself. He said there is no insurpassable obstacle towards unity, because he has seen men of desperate origin forge unity. And I'm talking about, I am reading in between the line, those Europeans who are very savage, even amongst themselves, but when the need arises, they find that unity for their own survival or self-preservation or profiteering or whatever it is they're about. I and I, because of that 500 years of down pressure, have lost the understanding how to do this. It's slowly coming forward, as we see even Africa is slowly rising from the dust, but it's a slow process. For I and I as Rastafari, we once had an excuse of not having the privilege of education and other things. Today, we don't have that excuse. So there has to be advancement in our development, if it even incremental, but there is none. That is the problem with our situation, There is none. Yes, the movement has grown globally, that is in numbers, but it has disintegrated in structure. So it's just now we are seeing flashes, and a lot of this organizing that is happening here in Jamaica too, it is not being fueled by so much the want, it's the need. Just like how we have the need now to deal with our security issues. It's not so man did want to deal with this topic now, especially coming down into our celebration time and all of that. But it is the need, it was forced upon us, see. So we have to deal with it, and we need to be realistic, because we run quickly to move for Mount Altar, and to have a good moment, and say we are speaking on behalf of the Father. We're speaking, but we're speaking, but we're not acting like him. We only want to speak like him, but we don't want to act like him.
I hear you, man. I hear you.
Yeah, we need to act like him too. Word and works. See, that unconditional love. Like I said to the brethren today, I don't have to be friendly with the ones in camp. I don't even have to know them if I didn't know them. But for me specifically, I'm going to speak to myself. Most of them, like Priest Coty and all them, and them was never bridging or, chummy, make no flex or do none of them things. We just passing ships in the night, them we just buck each other and heal and move to as praise. See, but that don't mean nothing. Him need assistance. So not because I and him is not whatever. That is not what that is. This is about the teaching of I and I Father. Unconditional love. Unconditional love just mean what it's saying. There's no conditions to it. You give it freely to those, who are in your space. And you give it when it's needed to anybody that need it. That is what unconditional means. So now we have these brethren and these sisters that are ailing, my brethren. Ailing. I mean, this is not no makeup thing. Nobody not trying to scam anybody here and get no money. No one will send no money to no one. Ones and ones can come up with a way in which this thing is transparent and accountable. If it's the money thing one's afraid of. Yes, in the past, this and that, but we are more advanced in our knowledge. Ways, there are, accounts that can be set up in a certain way that nobody who doesn't have the authority to can get to the funds. and there is ways to set it up that no one individual have access to the funds. It has to be, you know, so there's many ways of making it transparent and accountable. So that is not the problem, you know, and there are ways of doing it, whether it's GoFundMe, this, that, all kind of other modern ways of putting things into place. What we lack is the initiative to do it. Everyone has taken a wait and see thing. Everybody's, you know, it's either, I don't know if I'm waiting to see an judgment or utter collapse happen, or them waiting to be redeemed, or them waiting for Jesus to come, or I don't know what it is specifically we're waiting on. But like Gavi said, we're waiting for some entity or someone to do for us what we can do for ourselves.
So if reality, people out there that listening, people in the chat and everything. So if reality, as the Honorable Priest Dougie is saying, if we as a people can see that the few of us that are ready to handle this, because the elders waited, and we can clearly show that we have a system here of transparency. That's number one. As the priest just said, finance put away, no one person can go for it. So we are sure about that. And then we create a system, for example, $10 a month. Listen to this, $10 a month. If 500 of us, because more than 500 people are going to watch this video, maybe 500 of them coming and gone already. If 500 of us was to livicate $10 a month, and now you see, I say that, I know there are people that say, boy, just $10, man can throw 100. That always happens. Somebody always jump in and,
come on.
Yeah, boy, we can do it. It always happen and it never work. Even when we talk about $1 a week, boy, just $1 a week, man, yeah, boy, we can go find that. And it still never go anywhere. So what I'm saying, if $10 a month, I mean, that's like 25 cents a day, something like that. If we can, 500 of us can put $10 a month to an elders program, that's $5,000 a month. And then now, outside of the security of the finance, wherever that will be, it's not me, not Priest Dougie, we ain't touching nothing, you know. Whatever the committee they just set.
Yes,
and they are responsible and must held accountable for that. Then there's a next committee, a committee of planning and organizing how this $5,000 is used. And of course, we have to earmark the elders. We have to know exactly who we're dealing with and exactly how this is spent. And if we can organize that to the point that it's transparent, it's accountable, those of you who are watching, even those in the chat, would you dedicate or livicate yourself, as the brethren say, the initiative to come on board? Remember, you know, transparency is clear. You can see for yourself, okay, this looks correct. This looks like there can be no bubble, as we call it here in Antigua, bubble. All right, fair enough. And the plan seems good. We have certain elders set out, and we have to start with Bobo Shanti. And they don't have to be sick. They don't have to be going blind. They don't have to be anything. But we don't know who already fight the battle. We already know who out there. We know them. All right. And we know what they desire and what they need. And it's not just about, you know, it's about taking care of them. So we have that committee of wise ones. Me, for sure, I'm very open, and I am open to the wisdom. No matter what idea I have, you know, when you see the elders give their wisdom, I listen, you know. So even if it have to turn a little way to straighten out properly, because we have to utilize the finance properly, I want to know, those of you who are listening, would you come on board as Bobo Shanti, or, you know, would you come on board with a program like that if we implement it, adopting the elders?
And I want to think on this level as well. It is not just for an elder at this moment who is going through something. We don't want to just,
exactly.
It's not just about funding a moment. We want to put a mechanism in place, a functional method of elder care that is standardized and can be duplicated by any entity who choose to use our formula. You understand? But we want to put a system in place, not just a moment. See? So what I'm saying is that whoever is going to be investing initially in the program is not just investing in the elders and their care at this moment, but they're also investing in their care to come.
Of course.
Because the system. So money will be constantly being put in there over time, constantly being maintained, that whenever, whoever, because we are all going to reach a certain age and need at some point some assistance. Pray that none of we do, and we can live to a grand old age with no ailments and just transition as, a beam of light. We would give thanks. But if not, there is this risk management in place that will assist anyone that is in need of elder care. And I would even go further to say that if we can get it, perfect it, let me use that word, perfect it as a process, we wouldn't limit it to Bobo.
Of course, it will grow.
Because we're not just, Bobo is not here to minister to just Bobo. We're a house of priests here to minister to a nation of people. So we would create that care and grow it to encompass more and more and more of our community and our people who need it. But yeah, like you say, we would start with ourselves, build it from there to, giving it a scope, a buildable scope where it can take in others as it grow and assist others, being a functional tool. So what I'm saying, my brothers and sisters, is that this is a system in which will facilitate the future as well. It's not just for the elders who are presently in need.
Yes, Rastafari. Because remember, it's a kingdom we growing in. And, I just looking at it at the moment in the sense because, the vision of the kingdom is much broader than even where we are now. We are supposed to, a kingdom. Even King Emmanuel teach us, a tabernacle in every state of Africa. Okay, just think about that. That you rising, because it's not just tabernacle, it's campus, it's infrastructure, it's education ministry, it's obviously health and wellness ministry. We're rising a kingdom where we have to deal with social transformational issues. All of these things are necessary when you're rising
resolution.
Exactly. And financial stability, industry, business, all of this is a part of it. So we way behind, eh? We way
a government
behind.
A government within a government. A government
Yeah,
within a government. If we are how can we be a government and not be able to sustain our constituents? Not just now from I'm feeding off of what you just said. Not just in the healthcare aspect, but like you said, in business and all other development areas of the is needed to establish us as a nation.
No,
we need to be developing in all those areas.
That's the goal, But we have to hit targets, getting
started
there.
Somewhere. Here is a point where we can start perfecting this mechanism, put it in place, because a nation or a people is known by how they treat their elders and how they educate their youths. And right now we are failing in one department, maybe in both, So we need to really step up our game, and look at life more realistic, And like I said, instead of burning a spliff today or eating a snack today or going to a movie or renting a movie or whatever, put that money in a little pot towards something that benefit others, and so it will come back to you so easily. It's going to come back to you in tenfold or in sevenfold, or you understand? It's not necessarily the one you help and come back and help you,
Exactly.
But it will come forward. It will come forward from other places You understand? Because that's the energy of the universe. That's the laws of nature. You understand? So we have to start thinking outside of the box and being more realistic with liberty. So,
well, I can promise.
Yes, no less spiritual, because you're a spiritual.
No, but I can promise, because I know we're not going to be here for the full night, but I can promise, especially in front of this international community here, I'm going to do my best. I mean, there's a lot of things, to be honest, and a lot of things I do it. I'm telling you. And I'm sure the same thing with DI, and, even DI, even what I was just saying about Pre-Scale, I know a man like DI, because even when I was just coming into this, before I even met you, your name would have, your name would have gotten around. Every now and again, a person would mention Priest Dougie, and it's always in a case of building the Congress, Say, yeah, man, I have some man like Priest Dougie, and the man does always go and make some money and bring back to the Congress. You always hear these things. Remember, this is before I even know the item. Even the magazine the idols published there. We used to get it by them time, I didn't even know again. So I know that you have a record of attempts and constant work in trying to establish this Congress. So I know even at this stage, you're not just running into it willy-nilly, because experience is on your head and you're still trying to do it strategically too. Give thanks that ones like I and I who would have come after, we can link together in all respect.
And even thanks to them understanding, because like I said, some of these topics that we touch are very ticklish topics.
I know, exactly.
And
we're handling this one here tonight.
and people tend to run away and go vilify you, because you're saying something different from what they're normal, used to hearing, but in this time, I am not doing this for the likes, So yeah, I'm not doing this for the likes, I do this for the love. Yeah, for the love higher, because my lord, in a realistic way, beyond being the divine one and all of the fancy names that we add to Dada, I love Dada as a father. I got to Dada from my youth, and I saw the divineness of the man one, but I saw the definite work of the man, what he was striving to accomplish, in a wilderness with nothing. You understand? And he did it, tirelessly. Just before the man passed, when the man was ailing and in bed, last thing will come out of him, the last conscious sound come out of him was, well, get a pen and paper, come take a letter. There's a letter him a call for one of I and I to come take from him, for send out to whoever to send out to. That show you the man upon the work to the last moment, to the last breath.
Wow.
When Dr. Sharp came to deal with him death certificate, you the man tell I and I say, him said the body of the man that they dead days ago. Or the spirit of the man talk to the item till when him stop talk to the item. Him said that man they had a strong will spirit. So I man watch the father, Virgin. I man see what the father was around and what he was about. And my duty is to carry on in any little way I can his work. So I now do it for the like, I do it for the love. I love my liberty, I love my father. I love my people, because I know what my people go through. I love everyone, I love our life, our living things. But I have to deal with my people. My people going through what they're going through. See, that no other ethnicity, no other people have gone through what I and I, Africans have gone through Rasta, and continue to go through. And the Congress is a vehicle. It's a twofold vehicle. It helps you to save your soul alive through the African theology that the Father teaches us, the way of cleansing our spirit, through our rituals, conjuring, because, we don't reach nowhere yet in our liberty, We are just at the tip of our liberty and we're stuck. Because we're not spending the time to develop it. Because when I use the word conjuring, most Baba wouldn't even know what I'm talking about. And it's that we do at the tabernacle every time. It's that we do a Psalms reading. It's that why we lay down on our belly and pray. It's a science we are practicing. It's not a religion, it's a way of life. It's a science we are practicing. We are using the laws of nature, the laws of science, the astrophysics to create the energy that we need to serve us in whatever way. But we have lost that power, the power of conjuring, because we are not developing it. We don't even know what we're doing, most of I and I. If you ask me, see 10 Baba and ask him, why you lay down on your belly and pray? Why do we subjugate and all of that? Listen to the 10 different answers we have. You understand? Even fully comprehending the liberty, because we are not dialoguing. The most important thing for a human is to gain knowledge, Having wealth or money without knowledge is vain, and it's almost useless, because we have seen it. We have seen those that won lotto, those football and basketball and sports famous people that have made millions, and when you see them at the end of their journey, they are just one of us, because no one taught them. They did not have the knowledge of thrift, how to make the money work for them and grow. So without the knowledge, what we're talking about, the education of science, technology, secular knowledge where His Majesty tells us that we need, we are not going to develop ourselves. Education is our must, is the only means, His Majesty said, by which a people can lift themselves out of their plight. And education don't mean regurgitating the same thing over and over, man. And it's the same, Dada said this, but ones don't listen to all of those things. The man say, yeah, you tell me what John say, you tell me what Jeremiah say, you tell me what Peter say, but where did I say? Where did I say? My Lord, we're supposed to be writing the present day gospel. Not always stuck in the past gospel. The past gospel is just for reference. It's for reference.
Come on.
So we know how to write the narrative of today. But we're not. And when one's attempt to do it, you are vilified. It's like you're going outside of some zone. Who gave you the authority? How dare you? You have the audacity to speak on behalf of Emmanuel. When I wrote the book, The Philosophy and Opinion of the High Priest, you know how much like that. Like I took it upon myself to speak on behalf of Emmanuel. No, I didn't write nothing in there of myself, my Lord. It's the teaching. What is the teaching from my perspective and understanding of what I learned? Because not all of us was there learning the same lesson at the same time. You had man where every time them come around, Dada tell them, go on a service. Then you had those who come around Dada, and you can't get to leave him because it's peer reasoning. That was a thing in the latter days with I, and I talk it all the time. That's why I owe it to the Father. I would drive in, and as I reach in the evening and go up with the Father and him ramble a little bit, give him a little update of what took place in the day, and go and chill now down and pre-sturks and build a kite and sit back now and the stress. I would hear a knock on the door. My Lord, pre-sturk inside, eh? Yes, my Lord. The Father call you. Gone upstairs, gone up at the palace. Father run whatever brainstorm him run it by I again and him tell I whatever him wanted to tell I. And we did and we talk. I ask 2 questions and I leave again. So by the time I reach down and sit down and pick up the spliff again and light, my lord, Christ again, Father wants you again. And that will happen several times to the evening, my lord. Because the man a reason and I tried to tell her, and at the time it was the Gospel Bells mission. And it was getting ready to be launched. So we were fine-tuning all the details. Delegation going where first and what first and how the funding going, what is there in the bank and what is we were doing and the father telling us how, giving us advice how to do what we think when we land and when the man them land, giving advice, telling me what to tell the man them, you know, or when them land, them dealing with the government, how them to approach it, and them deal with the village, how them to approach it, and whole heap of reasoning about this whole development, you know, the whole Africa mission. See, so I got to understand how the father think and where his passion was. And I don't know why my other brethren them that was there and got the same thing. I was not singled out. I was not the only one there. And I would never ever try to present that. I was the least of the apostles. You understand? Because I had some big brand name powerhouse there. But I don't see them, I don't hear them, I don't know what, you know, what has happened.
These are the apostles. You know, I never remember to ask there anytime you come and the program, but I can make it. I know the answer already, you know. But I always ask, you know, anyone that come on the program from them times, if they ever burn a chalice with King Emmanuel. I know what the answer got to be yes.
Oh man. Oh man.
And you have to be.
Oh man. Yeah, oh man. You can't live a camp and don't aspire to do that, man. You know. Touch your hand on your chalice. You know, yeah, man. Yeah, man. Those were the moments when Jah reason. And him throw out him parables and him ask you question to answer forward and thing like one at a time him ask and how much sons him have.
And the whole world, man.
Oh land, the man a box of land. So one man say, my lord, 144. Father laugh and say, good answer, but all is man. You know, see, and hear the thing now when Jah asked the question, the question.
But before I like when he said that, good answer. It's a good answer for you.
Yeah, man, him say good answer. But he say, all is mine.
All is mine.
The morning day, it was a joyful morning, you know, because Jah come out of the free house and we pour water upon Jah and Jah wash him hand the morning. Jah go back, Jah walk back to him throne or to him room. See, you have to walk and turn the corner. Forgot where he was going. So when we look, you know, Jah ask you the question and I talk to it. And so by the time we look again, we don't see Jah. Jah turn the corner in a split second, you know. And then all of a sudden, Jah just push back him head round and just block where my block, you know. And it all of we bust out in our laugh, just the way the father do it. You understand? Just them little things there, man. Just them little things there with the father.
I see that in your face.
Yeah, man, just the little things with the father, Bridge, make you remember the realness of the man. You know, because some of we so caught up in the God part of the man that we never get to know the realness of the man, Rasta. And you see, if you don't know the human side of the man, if you don't know the human side of the man, then you don't know the divine side of the man, Bridge. Because them is one and the same. You understand? You have to accept the humanness to accept the divinity. We just want to look up, we have true religion, we just start to look up on the divineness and everything else is out of our reach because he's divine. That's why the man said, you have to see him as a man and you see him as a God. You have to see him in all them stages to fully comprehend him. So that is what I got the chance to do, to see that, I see what a Christ-like entity is within that humanness. You know? So that is what inspired I to continue work the journey. That is what inspired I to think free as a free thinker. and not be locked into the Bible, locked into the doctrine, not be afraid to accept information that is now what would be deemed new to me at this time that I didn't have before, that makes things that I held on to as bubble no longer relevant. So I and I is willing to shed those things, like the man said, this robe of flesh I drop and I rise to seize the ever-living prize. But it's that ever-living prize I and I want to seize, you know. And that prize is knowledge. Because through knowledge, you can save yourself. Because through knowledge, you're going to know, say, it's righteousness. You have to do right. You have to live right. You have to love your brother as yourself. You understand? You have to treat your brother and your sister as yourself. I wouldn't hear the sound. We wouldn't hear the sound next door and not go look if we're living right. You know?
Yeah, man. Oh, man.
No, as a matter of fact, brethren, there has to be within your camp, there has to be a ministering angel that checks on the elders every morning. They're elders, anything can happen. They can slip in the night and hurt themselves. Come on, we realistic. We have to think realistic, and we have to act out of that knowledge. You understand? And put systems in place to mitigate these things if we say we are who we are, and not just be caught up in our own reality or in the ritualistic practices that fill up our day and our life. You understand? Because the ritual is no more important than the individual Rasta. The individual, the person within life, within all things, it is the person that is the most important. A man who you $1 million and you go kill him for the $1 million. It's money, it's paper, it's nothing. That is a God you just kill.
Could you make 5 million for you if you just love him?
If you just love him. Those are the things that we have to, those are the levels where we have to start.
And then the man want to pay you back, you know, the man actually trying to pay you back. The man even say, no worry, man, you can double your money when we get you. You go smoke, man.
And money is nothing when it comes to life. Material is nothing when it comes to life. The man said the most valuable resource of anywhere, of a country, is its people.
Mm-hmm.
Not its minerals.
People, man.
Money is not what quantifies value. Money is what man applied to something. Value is what people gain from something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, for sure. For sure.
And until we understand those little simple principles, and if we listen to our African proverbs, you know, and our African folk tales, we can learn a lot, because that is how our ancestors passed on, you know, those knowledge, those griots, you know, before there was written text, you know, see, that is how we pass it on. Listen to some of them and we will learn. Those are the kind of books and things we need to give with children, for gifts and things, and not Superman cartoon and the little foolish thing them. You know, see, make them learn them real culture and self and see how quick them identify with it, because it's them. Yes, my lad, but we bring the reasoning full circle now and to seal up with that understanding of where we are. You know, these events, these situations will continue to occur among us if we don't step out of that, you know, mindset, you know, that taboo mindset that we place around ourselves. You know, see, because, you know, even with the Sabbath, yes, the Sabbath is to be kept holy, and we know the Sabbath ritual. But that I teach you have a thing. Him say, there is a circumstance where we call the donkey fall down in a hole. The man said, if your donkey fall down in a hole on the Sabbath, are you going to leave him there to die? And is your one donkey, whatever, you know, is important to your survival? Are you going to leave him there to die, and because it's the Sabbath, are you going to pull him out? See, little tidbits of wisdom I'm giving I and I. The Sabbath was made for man and not man for the Sabbath. No, a man going to condemn you and vilify you, you know, because as a Sabbath keeper now, something happen on the Sabbath where you did have to do a thing, whatever it is. I'm not using any specific thing now. Because the next thing you know, I want to go reinterpret that some way. So I just using it general. Something happened and you have to do something out of the norm on the Sabbath. And the one gets wind of it. And before you know it, they apply so much judgment to it, thinking that you don't have the right, when again the Sabbath was made for man. The value of the Sabbath is what we give to it. The power of the Sabbath is not the word, or just saying Sabbath have a power. The power is within the man who understands that. That means again, it comes back to the individual who is important. The understanding, what you get from the Sabbath is the individual get out of that concept, out of reverencing that Sabbath. When Sabbath comes on Friday evening, it's not about, take out the religious mindset out of it. Not about all of that other stuff, that in place on it. It is for you, your inner God, your inner peace, that inside serenity that you need when you can put away all things, all of the bad feelings, you and the girlfriend broke up during the weekend, during the week, and you lose some money during the week, or whatever it is. The Sabbath come, and because of how we live the Sabbath, or we reverence the Sabbath, it allows us to put that out of our minds for that moment, to assume that sabbatical meditation and relieve ourselves of that stress. Since we as poor people and as African people don't have the privilege of having counselors and those kind of people where them, come give therapy and all of that, we can heal ourselves like the man's a physician, heal thyself, can heal ourselves. And that's what the Sabbath does for us. That food of 7 is the healing. See, but that's the realistic and practical application of the Sabbath, not the mythical one that we had to it.
Gotcha.
Not the mythicalness that we think that because we keep Sabbath, we better than the rest of the world out there. It's the people that's important. And if Sabbath has some benefit to it, then it is our duty to help bring the people to the understanding of it. Sure. And not to condemn the people and they are men and people. And just him not come for fight against flesh and blood, spiritual wickedness in high and low places. And how we do that? By burning the fire of purification, seeing which is word sound, conjuring, using the right words that will infuse that flame that are going to rid you of that negative energy, that negative thought. See, that's similar to what there is going to be doing for the celebration, going into that level, other level of heights of thinking. Dealing with the astrology and the metaphysics, and it's a different level of understanding, which we have to eventually take time and get there. You have to take time and get there, because not many of I and I as Rastafari even know what the word metaphysics mean, or astrology. As a matter of fact, when I rise up, the man them born astrology, because it was stargazers.
Oh my.
You understand? And they didn't understand that the heavens declare the glory of God. So through the heavens is how we know how the earth functions. That's how we understood how the seasons roll in and roll out, and how it affects farming, and how it affects health, and all of these other aspects of life. So, yes, my lord,
Yes, my lord. Well, even before we seal, and give thanks even for that, I would call that a plug there. But before we go now, because we're going to take this serious. I asked before, right? And I'm going to ask again by putting the number 1 in the chat. By putting the number 1 in the chat. those that are listening now that would agree to be a part of an initiative that will directly deal with funding our elders, especially if we bring it forward with obvious transparency and clarity. So in fact, I will be asking ones to hold us to that it is transparent and accountable. You can see, okay, after it's explained, you can see it's transparent and accountable. With putting the number 1 in the chat, how many of you, even if you haven't been in the chat speaking, you can just put the number 1. How many of you would be a part of an initiative like that, knowing that it's something that you can trust? Because trust and accountability and transparency is very, very, very important. And this is a serious project that we are talking about. I mean, brethren, I can tell you straight, you know, I mean, enough of the people them trust I, and they have good reason to trust I too, you understand? But this is differently than just I here. This is something we're dealing with for our foundation. And I honestly believe we should start there as we are growing, you know. Enough respect to a man like Bingy Flacco, you know, who's mighty inspiration when it comes to this aspect here. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, man.
I see a lot of ones going up in the chat though. A lot of ones already saying.
I big up Bingy Flacco as well, my lad. I give enough credence to Bingy Flacco, as a man who always advocate for the elders here.
Yeah, man. Yeah. We have to do this like now. And as I said, it's enough things we're doing. I know it's enough things you're doing, but I am promising that I'm gonna livicate my time, because my mind, I need time to think, and so I'm gonna livicate my mind space to really put in some sort of blueprint down. I'm sure other ones can do that, and bringing it to the table with who I know serious about it. And we're gonna bring this back to the community. It may not happen tomorrow, although it's needed like yesterday. Let me repeat, it may not happen tomorrow, although it's needed like yesterday, but for sure, I know I will put my hand to that. And I know for sure I have on my team ones that might even go before me, even just the way I see the Honorable Empress Naya speaking here in the chat. I know for sure this is something that she definitely would be a serious part of, even with Empress Sharon, I had a vision of her the Sabbath, the same, before I got the word, I didn't know something has happened. I got the word the Monday, but the Sabbath itself, the Saturday, afternoon, I was taking a rest. And in the vision I had came, I visioned her standing like in the kitchen region there and speaking to me. But I can't remember nothing that was said in that vision, but I know she was talking to me. And I only remembered that I had that vision the Monday morning when I came across the information. I said, but wait, I just had that vision there Saturday. So it's as if...
Premonition.
True, man. Real thing, And I always refer to her as the secretary that King Emmanuel never had.
Many of I must have gotten something. Many of I must have gotten some form of thing, because we were just, several of us were reasoning about around that same type of scenario when this thing, there was an energy. There was an energy. Mm-hmm. We just couldn't, because we don't have that clairvoyance as in ancient time, we couldn't see beyond the sensation of what we were feeling, but there was an energy, see. That's why, like I said, we need to learn our live. Our live is more than just mounting the altar and reading the Bible. It's learning our true spiritual self, learning our potential, see what we can do as humans with the powers that have been given to us. Dada was a science man. He understood this. His majesty. If you look at some of the in his honors, you see that he was a master Kabbalist. He was a master of negromancy. And ones can go read up what them that is for themselves. See? So if His Majesty mastered those disciplines, must have been for a reason, as a man of right. You know? So I and I need also to learn knowledge. You know, ones with back they say all a book of voodoo and oh no. All right, let's say voodoo is what they say it is. You know, even though we know it's a fable and we know the reason why we were taught not to, respect it anymore. But just say, for talk's sake, it is what they say it is. It is evil and all of this. And you see a book. I still want to read the book to see what makes it evil and learn how to neutralize it if I have to come across it. And I want to know something about it. I don't want to be just dumb to what voodoo is. It's knowledge. Just like how we know what Christianity is, but I still have looked into what Christianity is. I still read books that I come across. You understand?
Good point.
To see what it is saying about what it is saying, because it's knowledge. See, and I don't fear knowledge. I can't fear knowledge. Yeah, you can't fear knowledge. If a man come to my house right now in Florida, you will see a book on masonry. You will see a book on Delawrence. A man might go and say, boy, the priest or one voodoo man, no, it's knowledge. It's knowledge. I have to know what these things are, why it is taboo then. Or where it gets its power. Why is it so powerful? Why people think it is so powerful? Is it just a mind over matter thing? Is it a placebo effect? What is it? How am I going to know that if I don't read it? I'm going to take another man's opinion. That man might, I don't know what, understand?
Of course, I know the talking about.
I have to read it for myself and then I will say, sure, this is rubbish and throw it away if it seems like rubbish to I. But I have to make I inner God tell I that I now go off of where the I read and the I knowledge, where the I get from it. I will listen and I will take that into account, but I want to read it for myself and see where you did, see where make you feel so.
Always, man.
So
yes, my Lord.
Yeah, we can't fear knowledge and we can't fear change. Those are the things. That's the topic of the day when it comes to security, when it comes to elder care, when it comes to all these things. We are gonna attempt to do things that have never been done in our community. We are doing levels of organization that was never done as Rastafari. But it is needed, family. We have to do it. We have to become more self-sufficient. We have to maintain our autonomy. If we don't, this is not something, we have to be willing to fund our revolution. That's the reality of this, Instead of waiting for the revolution to be televised, we have to be willing to fund our revolution. Because if somebody else is funding it, just think about the consequences of that. If someone else is funding our revolution, what outcome? Who is determining the outcome of it? Who pays the piper call the tune, So whoever is funding I revolution, it's their outcome. It's their outcome that will be achieved. We have to be willing to fund our own revolution, family. See, and what we're saying, our own change. We cannot wait on governments or institutions or anyone to give us that, to fund it, we have to be willing. And this is one chance. Put your one in the chat room, make we see where your mouth there. Them say put your money where your mouth there. Make we see, because we are to fund our revolution. Take care of our elders. Our elders is that's our knowledge source, Google don't have the knowledge where your elders have, because them have the experience. So don't think you can do without the elders because you don't have Google today. Okay, because a lot of people think that them not about to run to granny no more and to ask, them just Google. Yeah, you get some bits and pieces, and in some cases it's right. But you see that other side of it, when granny tell you, say, yes, but this is what I had to do, or this is how I did it, or this is what I felt that. You're not getting that from Google. That humanness, that is applied or detracted, you're not getting it from Google. See, so you can't replace the elders. So this is a chance for us to start funding our revolution.
And we'd have to, as I said, this is not going to happen tomorrow, but it's needed like yesterday. I have to keep repeating that. Because you don't want to rush it, but it's needed since last year. But
what we want people to do is to be prepared that when they see something being offered and when they review it and see that it is structured professionally, they will apply their strength to it to make it successful.
Of course, we'd have to. I think we'd have to definitely consult the Honorable Priest Kailash too.
Definitely.
And even Bongo Flacco, who, and as you can see, that's two different lanes there.
Well, again, this is the field that I am in. I work with a team of doctors. I am one of the researchers among them as a phyto research. I deal with plants, herbs within, but I work with a set of medical doctors. Dr. Anthony Hall, who is my partner here in Jamaica in the project that I'm dealing with, he's a neurosurgeon in Florida and the fourth doctor licensed in Florida to dispense cannabis-derived products, so, and his wife is also a doctor. She's a sickle cell specialist, which that sickle cell is a black man disease that affects black people. That is very, very debilitating, and it's rough in our community right now. So his wife, she has devoted her life to that study, and finding funding to do the research and all of that. So that is what we do. So like I'm saying all that to say that, yes, between I, Priest Kailash, Bongo Flacco, and others in the space, because you have Dr. Street, who leads a medical mission to Jamaica often to deal with. He has done medical mission for the Nyabingi House, and others. So you have a field of doctors who are willing to give their time and their expertise to I, but there has to be funding to facilitate the other aspects of what is needed to make it a clinic that can deal with the issues of our elders. See?
Wow.
Transportation, buying the meds, buying the, because we can't expect them to do all of that too. They will do what they can as doctors. They will bring their, as much supplies as they can when they are coming. But there are other needs that will need funding to take care of. So it's in a nutshell.
Well, give thanks, family. And as I said, $10 a month from 500 people, which we have more than that. You understand, it's $5,000 a month. I'm just using that just to show how little bit, how much can come from so little bit, $10 a month. So just imagine if it was really more. My Lord, I give you your sealing words for this program. Give thanks so much. You there? I was saying I've given you sealing words for this program. That's good. Oh, king stick. I want to use the king stick. You stick on me.
Okay, me, I don't know.
Okay, all right.
It's the internet.
That's me stick, but the internet, not me stick.
Internet is unstable.
Okay, right. Now we stick is they stick. They're like people that you're talking on phone and man telling you, you're breaking up. I say I'm not breaking up, boss.
Truly bad. Well, that's the one thing with Rastafari, we use words directly.
Skillful.
We use words directly because, like we say, you have to learn how to conjure. And you have to do that, you have to know the etymology of the word, the precise meaning of it to really deal with the issue it deal with. So.
True. Nice put it together. But yeah, skill, give me a sealing word. That's why we say that them things like sealing word, man. We take your last words and all.
Come on.
Give us a sealing word.
Well, family, yeah, we have to fund our own revolution. We have to be willing to put some funds. We have to start trusting again. I know it's a trust issue that causes a lot of the breakdown and a lot of the lack of progress.
And sometimes you can understand why, to be honest.
Yeah.
We
We
all
understand
experience
that.
the thing.
But
Yeah.
hear the thing now. A gambler, when him gamble upon a horse and lose, don't him go back to gamble next week again?
Exactly. Wow. Wisdom boy. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I could take a gamble back again, no man, for one another.
Oh man. Sure.
No man, I could try another thing, man. Because, because some of us we have learned. We have learned from our mistakes. Some don't, but some of us we pride in learning from our mistakes. That's why we don't hide them. Because you'll never hear I come on your show or any interview and preach holier than sin. No, I am an imperfect human. See, striving to be better every day. I set that bar for myself way above where I can ever reach it. But at least I know I will keep on reaching up. I will never stop reaching up.
Let's think a bit. We got you.
So yeah, man. So I will never stop reaching up, and by reaching up, it will make I a better person, little by little. So yes, family, let us take another gamble then. Take another chance with ourselves, trust in ourselves that we can do it right. Like that I used to say, if it's sweet, we make it sweet, and if it's sour, we make it sour.
Good we, but body we.
Yeah. You can't make your juice, and when you make your juice, you curse nature, you curse something else. And you make your juice, So you must know the ingredients that makes it how you like it. See, so yeah, we could take another chance for each other. Put some effort into doing something for ourselves. We're waiting on others to do for us, and we can do it. Marcus asked you, and at the time when he asked, the answer was yes, we can do it. We must do it. Because what the man said, if we don't do it, we will die. See, so let us do it. But we have to do it together. That's the test of this planet, This planet is not about individual accomplishment and aggrandizement, This planet is about coexisting. It's about how we live together. Our life, but especially the highest form of life, which is humans, is how I and I live together. And each sect have to start with themselves. So we as a people, African people, we start with I and I self, how we live in, and within that Africanness, how we as Bobo Ashanti live in, how we as Rastafari live in, who are part of that family. See, we are the Rastafari. We know what that means? Ras, head, Tafari, creator. We are the head creators. We set the standard. So we are held to a higher standard morally and ethically. We are held to a higher standard, and we must be. That is natural, and we must hold ourselves to that too. But also, when we falter, don't kill yourself either, and don't kill your brother. Forgive yourself first of all, attune within yourself and move on. Because that is where the humanity part comes in, the imperfection. We are all plagued by it. No matter how you say a man walk around well-dressed and all of that, with the swagger and the militants and all of that, he's plagued by the same frailties that all of us have as humans. See? So like the Buddhist said, the more wisdom we gain is the more we realize that we don't know. So we continue to strive for knowledge. It's endless. Give thanks. Yeah, man. Love
yes, my lord.
Thanks for the moment and the privilege. Don't take it lightly, and I don't take the work that I do lightly. Give thanks for always feeding the minds of our people, because that is the biggest problem we have. Emancipating ourselves from the mental trappings of the religion and the Bible and the colonial mindset, all of that. They make up one another, them kind of work together. So it's a problem. So what I do is valuable in farming and feeding that conscious mind, because the work that we do, people like I and I do, sharing knowledge, is to open the third eye of our people that they can see beyond the physical eye, beyond just the material to the higher consciousness, the spiritual. So, yeah, man. Blessings.
Give thanks, King, full-hearted celebration for the 130th anniversary of the King. And our blessings to the Iron family going out through the earth. You don't know we're going to link to it.
Come on, love to the Royal House of Rastafari, love to the Royal House of Bobo Ashanti, love to all ones listening near and far, Blessings, a royal celebration when it forward, give eyes.
Yeah.
Rastafari.
Right. Yes, I will definitely give thanks to the one Honorable Priest Dougie. Family, let me just, of course, remind them specifically of the upcoming reasonment now. Let me just get here. That's it. The Tigers Temple, that's Sunday. That's in the next few days. Remember this one, there's no contribution needed for this. Just contact me. You know how to contact me. The email is priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com. And as I said, this is going to be a nice one. Of course, the Comet K2 2017 C27 K2 is going through the exosphere as we speak. It's in the constellation of Ophiuchus. On the 14th of July, it was at its closest point to the Earth. That was the exact same time that the moon was full, and the moon going through Capra, because we know Kepra represents the dung beetle, but Kepra is also Cancer. Oh yeah, Cancer really is Kepra. So the constellation of Cancer is really the constellation of Kepra. And remember, it's the crab and the lion. That alone, that's a lecture I have, but that I never gave in public. The crab and the lion. You might be saying the crab and the lion. Remember the 23rd day of July is many ones, of course, especially Rastafari will tell you that's the beginning of the sign of Leo, which is true. The 23rd of July in the Pisces age, particularly when the Pisces age is at its apex, which is not anymore. It's definitely going downhill. Remember, we are feeding strongly off of the Aquarius age. This is not spookism. This is not astrology. This is clear astrophysics I'm talking about here. This is astronomy in its scientific and mathematical form. And what we're talking about. So really, when we say the 23rd day of July, which is the Earth Day of the King, many ones of us speak of it astronomically as being the sign of beginning of Leo in the zodiac and the astro guide, which is true, really. But at that time, the sun is not in Leo, The sun is in the crab. When the king was born, the sun was not inside of the Leo constellation. It was the beginning of the sign of Leo in the zodiac belt constellations, which we have explained. That will be the time when the sun will be coming out of the previous constellation, which is the crab, going towards Leo at the 23rd of July, because that's the beginning. But anyway, on Sunday, I will be going more in detail so you clearly understand what I'm telling you. No, you can't separate the lion from the king in the zodiac belt, but you can't separate the crab as well, which is not no crab. Who tell you it's a crab? Who told you it was a crab? Tell them to prove it. It's Kepra, the dung beetle, the resurrected one. So yes, family, looking forward to your presence. That is Sunday the 24th, celebrating the 130th anniversary of the king. Just email me and let me know. I would like my pass for the Tigers Temple. Of course, no contribution needed, although you can still contribute. Remember, the Tigers Temple is a contribution program. You just pay your little contribution and come in. But for this Sunday, we're opening the doors to all and sundry to come and have a wonderful sit down. So just email us and get your link. And 8 p.m. sharp, prepare yourself for a wonderful online lecture in the Tigers Temple. So there will be no panel discussion this Temple Sunday, and there will be no, interviews this Temple Sunday, no debating this Temple Sunday. We will be specifically giving our presentation this Temple Sunday. Oh, give thanks to the Honorable Priest Dougie for coming through. Family, as I said, I myself, because this is what it's all about with I, this is about works. It's about work. This ain't no game for I. So as I said, I will put my mind towards it because it's needed. I can't say, oh, well, man, I'm doing too much things. Because to be honest, ones don't even know. You may see me here and we're doing this little talking. But I mean, there's enough things, as we all have plenty of things to do. But as far as the work of the kingdom of Christ, kingdom of Haile Selassie, and even personal things, there's enough things we have on our table. Plenty things, but because this is something necessary and we can't wait for somebody else to do it. So as I said, we will be bringing this to the community again. It's almost sad that you have to express these things to the wider community, because who we're speaking of here is not just to our family. The enemies for sure is listening. The wicked and the spies, all of them are tuning in. In fact, they're usually the first to be, in line to watch the video. When you see you have 3-4 views going up the line when you come live, just believe it. More times it's the enemy. They be first to tune in. So we have to keep that in mind as well. That's why you have to know exactly what you're saying. So it's almost sad that you have to bring this sort of discussion to the international community, just hoping that some of your own family would hear the message and come on board and get the message to move on and pass the message along. So the fact that we have to speak of this in front of the world, let us make the best opportunity of it. Let it not just be a talk shop and we just saying this and we just, as the king just said, he's not doing it for the likes. So we're going to make sure we put this in order. We're going to make sure we set up some sort of program that, again, is transparent. That shouldn't even be the biggest concern. But me personally, I understand why. So we have to make sure it's transparent. If it's one thing I believe in, is transparency and accountability. Anyone that is in any business with I, that's affiliated with I, they know that is what we are into. We don't play around when it comes to that. So that is not even nothing to worry about. You understand? And as the Honorable Priest Dougie was saying, this is not no one-man thing. We know one man or one woman or whoever collecting no money. This will be an organized structure where several individuals would have to put their hand to that. You still have a committee overlooking it to show you exactly how this will be utilized and for who and in what way, whether it could be for even from groceries to medical care. And medical care doesn't necessarily mean the first choice is, as I said, so-called doctor care. This is why I said we have physicians amongst us that are not only credible, but have proven themselves to be masters of their craft. They themselves don't have to fly all around the world to put their hands on everybody. They themselves have even mastered the craft of dispensing or what you would say, delegating individuals. So in other words, the person that has the skill of healing, he doesn't have to go to everyone to heal them. He can teach and can instruct, and have created medicines that can go further afield. So once we can organize ourselves in humility, in seriousness, not just talk. So let's not go to sleep and wake up tonight and forget all about this. It usually happens. That's why King Dougie, Priest Dougie started the conversation directly dealing with our psychological state of mind. I know to some it looked like he came out swinging at the Bible, but let's not, don't make emotions get you now. The reality is we have a psychological lapse. That is the truth, and it does affect the way we handle our business domestically and otherwise. For real, it is the truth. I mean, it is sad that we can't deal with an issue like this, protecting the vulnerable amongst us, until we get our religious ideas straight. It's so bad our religious ideas are. Wow. No, it's the truth, It is the truth because of religion. A lot of us think a certain way. I don't want to jump out of Rastafari to say I touch in another one, but to me, this is the best example I could give. You know that there are many Hebrew Israelites that do not consider themselves as Africans. They consider themselves as Black. They fight against the same system we fight against as such. And a lot of the ideas we have, they may have it too. You know, some of it, I should say, basically. Maybe not dietary, depending on which group of Israelites they are. But a lot of them will tell you that they're not Africans. They're Israelites, because an Israelite is from Shem and an African is from Ham. And you know the whole story. Okay, good. Now, when you tell this individual, hey, listen, we have works to do. We have works to do in our community, securing our elders, feeding our babies, and protecting our women, and these different things. They will say, yeah, man, I'm totally with you. This is what we do. But we ain't protecting no Africans. No. But brother, you are an African yourself. No, I ain't no African, I'm an Israelite. Now you see, there's certain times when you can say to each other, okay, tell you what, we're gonna work together. We're gonna put our beliefs aside. In fact, you don't have to put them aside, but we're not gonna let them, we're gonna tolerate our different outlooks. But with a person that is bent on the fact that, or the belief that they're not an African, it's hard for them to put that aside. And they have other ideas, not necessarily that many of us have, even as Rastafari, that is hard to put aside for the benefit of the whole. You understand? Yeah, religion is something else. So family, I intend us to go around that. When we bring the program to you, I don't expect no one to be backpedaling because they don't believe this, or they don't believe that, or they don't eat this and they don't eat that. I don't know how that will get into the conversation when our elders as Bobo Shanti need assistance. And then I know what will come up, you know. One's are gonna say, oh, them man. No, come on, don't do that. Don't do that, man. That's just an excuse for your lack of empathy for those who have gone before you. That is an excuse. Your elders. And what Priest Dougie was saying about our Afrocentricity is key, because in ancient African science, I mean, like what happened to the elder mother there. I mean, wow. That is why I was quick to say we are all responsible for this. Because in the ancient African scheme of things, it's like judgment will come upon us. So it's nothing wrong to claim responsibility quick. Nature may forgive you before it comes and tears down, you know, your walls with its wrath. It works like that, African science. That is why even in the Bible, when Christ died, they said 3,000 people get killed one time, you know. When righteous people go down, you know, they have thousands of people that just die with them, you know, as if it's just like some sort of sacrifice. It may sound simple, but I don't even want to go too deep in it. Because if I say this, some people may get it the wrong way. But when King Emmanuel made the move, you know when King Emmanuel made the move, right in the center of the genocide that was going on in Rwanda. When I say center, right like in the middle point of it. 31st of May 1994. Now you may say, oh, what does that have to do with it? Well, it's just interesting to see that Rwanda also carries a red, gold, and green flag. And Rwanda's flag has an R inside of it. Remember, you know, the other red, gold, and green flag with an R is the Bobo Shanti flag. But I will leave that conversation for another time. You know, give thanks for your presence with us. Give thanks to the life giver and the keeper of life. Looking forward to your presence this Sunday in Temple, the Comet, and the Negus, the King. Holy Emmanuel I, Selassie I, Jah, Rastafari, give thanks for joining us.